Good evening. There have been angry scenes outside a County Tipperary hotel where Garda and protesters clashed as a bus carrying asylum seekers arrived at the premises. Well, large numbers of Garda moved onto the site earlier this afternoon and scuffles broke out outside the Racket Hall hotel outside Roscrea. It's been earmarked as accommodation for international protection applicants, and there's been a protest outside the gates since last week.
Lines of public order Gardaí outside the Racket Hall hotel. Before midday, the Garda presence at the hotel on the outskirts of Roscrea town in North Tipperary increased. Dozens of public order and uniform members arriving on site. Shortly afterwards, a bus carrying asylum seekers pulled in. Approximately 17 women and children entering the hotel. Clashes between the protesters and the Gardaí followed. Videos of the interaction quickly circulating online.
Online at the moment, I've been told it looks bad that women and children get off and we were trying to stop them. That wasn't the case. We stopped it at the gate, hoping that we'd be seen, our voice would be heard, and enough was enough. But when the women and children came in, everyone stood back. And I have to say that, and fair play to everyone here that did. We stood back and let them in the doors.
Protests have been ongoing here around the clock since Thursday evening after news broke that 160 asylum seekers were to be accommodated at the hotel. It is the only hotel in Roscrea town. Events including weddings booked in here for the year ahead.
Yeah, there's a small number of women and children, yeah. But Roscrea has enough. Roscrea has enough. Just has enough. There's Gardaí in Roscrea. I spoke to 3 Gardaí. There's 7 in the town that can't man what they have.
Peaceful protests. There hasn't been a word said from anybody in Roscrea. We stood here because Roscrea has enough. It's not about man, woman and child. It's not about the colour of anybody's skin or nationality. It doesn't matter. Roscrea has enough of people.
The public order members stayed at the scene until shortly before 3 o'clock. There was no further issues.
Well, Aisling Cushla is in Roscrea for us this evening and joins us now. Aisling, what is the latest from there?
Well, a much calmer atmosphere in Roscrea this evening, Colette, but it was quite a tense day at the Racket Hall and the site of that hotel. There was one man arrested as a result of those clashes. He was brought here to Roscrea Garda station, has since been released without charge. It was the 4th day of a peaceful protest, but it escalated quite quickly this morning with the arrival of the public order Gardaí and a number of uniformed Gardaí who provided a cordon for those asylum seekers, 17 in total, women and children, to enter the hotel. I spoke to many of the protesters today. They say that those asylum seekers were visibly upset, crying as a result of what was going on outside those scuffles. But those protesters also quite critical of how the Gardaí handled the situation today, believing that they used unnecessary force. There was about 200 protesters there at the time. They had a meeting after the public order units left. They have decided to continue their protest. There's about 40 or 50 of them out there at the Racket Hall still this evening. Now, we know that there is to be a meeting tomorrow between local representatives and the Minister Roderick O'Gorman for this issue to be discussed, but we also believe that more asylum seekers will be moved into the Racket Hall over the coming days. But this evening the atmosphere definitely less tense than it was throughout the day today.
Our reporter Aisling Cushla live from Roscrea, thank you for all of that. Well, the Taoiseach has signalled there won't be a change to the government's approach on asylum housing, and that it intends to find more centres where those seeking international protection can be housed. Micheál Martin said, however, that the government would work with communities to address concerns.